In this video, we are going to go over the things that you need to consider before thinking about putting lithium batteries in your RV or travel trailer, so stay tuned. Alright everybody, welcome to another episode of Unique Adventures, and today we are going to be profiling our biggest install or our biggest upgrade that we plan on doing this year. As you can see in front of you right now, we have two Lion Energy 1300 UTs. These guys put out 105 amp hours a piece, and they will combine out to 210 amp hours of boondocking goodness. And we are totally excited about getting to put these things in. Now, on to the things that you need to think about and some of the things that we went through when we were planning out our system. Now, mind you, we bought the batteries first and we decided, hey, cool, we're going to put these things in, easy peasy. I kind of have an idea on what I need to do. Well, with our travel trailer, things were a little bit different. So I'm going to explain to you some of the things you got to consider when you're putting these things in here. One, the cost of these batteries. They're expensive. And most people carry their batteries on the front of the tongue of their trailer. Now, I'm going to ask most people, are you going to put $1,300 to $1,500 worth of batteries strapped to a plastic box to the front of your trailer? Most people are not. They're going to keep them in concealed cubbies and tucked away, just to keep them out of sight, and also to make it so they're not as readily accessible to be stolen. I've seen everything from people buying these big metal cages to put over the front, but then you're also advertising that you got something really expensive in that box. One of the things you got to consider is, how are you going to protect those batteries? Because those little dinky plastic boxes, people could rip those off, and then you've got your $1,500 investment is completely gone. So most people relocate these off the front end of their trailer, and that's an added cost. You're going to have to run more wiring and things like that, which is what we plan on doing. So the things you got to think about: you got to buy cable. We got ground cable, we got power cable. We're all the way down to 2-gauge wire for our setup. We're not going to solar. We're still going to be using our generator a little bit, but we had to upgrade. We're going to have to upgrade all of our wiring to be able to relocate these things back inside. And mind you, we're going to be relocating these a lot closer to our panel, so we aren't going to need as much wire. But if you are running this thing from the front to all the way to the rear of your trailer, this stuff can get spendy real quick. So definitely something to consider if you're needing to relocate your batteries. Cost of line, and then also the lugs that you need for putting the on the wires. You're going to need a ton of those. You're also going to need fuses, and you're also going to need distribution blocks, stuff like that. And then of course you're also going to need a quick disconnect, which we got here. So these are a lot of extra pieces just to put those batteries in the back. Now mind you, are these things drop-in ready? Absolutely. You can drop these things right into your trailer right now, hook them up, and it'll work. No problem. That brings me to my second point, is you got to figure out charging these batteries. Like I said, these things are drop-in ready and they will charge, but the big thing with these batteries is that they are topped off at a higher voltage than your 6-volt or your 12-volt systems, or your standard lead acid AGM batteries. So if you drop these things in, you're only going to get 80% capacity, 80-85, depending on your charge converter and your system. So you spent for 210 amp hours, and maybe you're only going to get 185 of it, and it seems kind of like you're just leaving stuff out on the table at that point. So you have to rectify that. You have to upgrade your charge converter to a lithium profile, to where it will send it more juice a lot faster. And the benefits of upgrading to a charge converter is you're going to get that lithium profile. You're going to charge faster. You're going to be able to put more. You're going to be able to put more power into these batteries faster, and they're just going to charge, and it's just going to be better for your system. Now, on most systems, if you have to upgrade your charge converters, typically it's an external box on the back side of your panel. You unplug it and you disconnect your positive and negative wire. It's in the back behind the panel. There's a lot of wiring back there. It kind of stinks, but you can, get in there, fiddle with it, put in a new block that will actually, or a new converter that will actually have that lithium profile. Now, the thing I didn't realize is that we have a WFCO 8735 panel, and when I went to go pull it out and look for the charge converter, magically the charge converter is built into the panel. This is something we did not realize until after we had purchased these batteries. So we did some research and had to figure out exactly, okay, how are we going to be able to charge these batteries on a lithium profile? And what we came up with is Progressive Dynamics has a unit that works for this. It's called the Mighty Mini. It's the 4000 model, and it is this guy. Now, this guy looks a lot bigger in a charge converter because it is. This is a complete panel replacement because our charge converter is built in to the panel. So this is going to create a lot more headache for us. We're going to have to pull out the old panel, all the AC system, relocate our we're going to have to relocate the breakers and all the wiring, and then we're going to have to rewire the whole 12-volt system. They do make it easy with doing this and give you step-by-step directions, but I'm essentially going to have to replace this whole panel and all the wiring to do it. It will be worth it because we're going to get that extra amp hours and we're going to be able to charge all the way up to capacity, but doing that legwork is going to take a lot more time and effort. It's definitely not something I'm completely looking forward to, but we're going to be able to put more power into these batteries faster and actually charge up faster. Where our old charge converter was a 35 amp model, we opted for this panel as a 40, or this charge converter is a 45 amp. We could have done 60. I thought that was a little too much, so we're going to do the 45 model, and I think this will work out great for us. But this is what we had to do, and some trailers you're going to have that external charge converter. Some trailers you're going to have to do this. And our trailer, if you haven't noticed from our other videos, it's a 2018 Jayco J-Flight 267 BHSW. So there might be other models around that line that you'll have to probably do something like this too. So it's definitely something to think about when you're upgrading your lithium batteries. The third thing you got to think about when you're upgrading to lithium is being able to monitor your batteries appropriately. Now, with a 12-volt system, you can get little monitors to read your voltage, and you can take those numbers if it's 12.7 or 12.5 or 12.4, and you can actually stack that up and say, all right, I'm at 50%, I'm at 60%, and kind of get a gauge on where you're at. Because as you use your battery and that voltage goes down, it's going to tell you what percentage you're sitting at. Now, with these lithium batteries, they don't move. They sit at a solid 13.3 volts and barely drop off right at the end, right before everything's about ready to shut down. So it's a lot harder to gauge exactly how much battery capacity you actually have. So you have to put in a battery monitoring system. You got to put in a shunt system on the negative side to actually monitor the output and input of power, so it can actually tell you what you actually have. Now, there's a couple ways to go about this. You can get some cheaper shunts that are under $100, and I believe they work just fine. Or you can go all the way up to the Victron, the 712 monitor that's got the little dial screen that you can go through all the settings, and you can use Bluetooth. we decided to go in between. Now, the cheaper ones are under 100, and the 712 Victron model is like 220, 230. We decided to go with the middle grade version, and we got the Victron Smart Shunt. This is a 500 amp, and this guy here was only like $129. Now, what we can do with this is we can monitor our system, but it's strictly by Bluetooth. So I'll be able to download the Victron app on my phone and be able to monitor my system through this. So it's kind of the in-between, but it's definitely something you got to think about when you're thinking about putting lithium into your battery system, that you should have a shunt on there so that you can actually see what power you're actually using. So with all this stuff, we are totally excited to open up our series on this install. We are going to be taking you step by step through the wiring for the panel, the setup of the batteries, the smart shunt install, all the wiring. We are going to do videos showing you the whole process, and hopefully we get it in there real good. We definitely feel like this is going to help take our travel to the next level and help us be a little bit more flexible in where we go and how we camp, and I think that is going to be amazing for us. So if you got value out of this video, make sure you hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. Hit that like button, let us know that you like that video. It helps us with YouTube. Also, make sure, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss any more of our videos where we go through RV modification tips, travel, vlog videos, all the things, destination travel. Hopefully here sometime this year we'll get to do some more destination stuff. But we're going to try to do it all. We're going to try to provide you guys with some great content this year. And I guess until then, we'll see you guys in the next adventure.